Hi everybody, welcome back to Talk with TQ. I'm always happy when you come to the show. Today, we're filming on location at the Peekskill Presbyterian Church, and I am interviewing the pastor of the church, who I adore very much. Her name is Pastor Stephanie Graham Walker. And I'm also introducing the new ambassador to the church. Her name is Caroline Jaisarie. So we're going to talk about things that this church, this wonderful church, is doing for the community in Peekskill. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
really good to be here with you.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's my pleasure, 100%. This is an interview I always kind of dreamed of, like doing it right here in the sanctuary, you know, and interviewing you about what goes on in the church, because you know the church is very dear to me.
And you're very dear to the church.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I know I learned that when I see people in the street that ask me where I have been. Where have you been? You know, but I always feel like I'm here because the church community here is so welcoming. But things are changing always in this church community. And there's some programs that you're working on that I think are really very, very exciting. Maybe we'll just talk about the season in which we're actually doing this particular interview. It's during the season of Lent. And so there are preparations being made for Easter. And you have an egg extravaganza for the children. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. The egg extravaganza is an Easter egg hunt that will take place after our worship service on Easter Sunday. And of course, it's for the children, but the adults enjoy it almost as much, watching them find the eggs. And it's being sponsored by our Christian Education Ministry. I want to give them a little shout out. And we want all the children in the Peekskill community to gather here. Even if you don't come to the service, it's okay. But you can join us on the grounds of the church directly following service. And we just like to have fun with you and watch our children be children and have a good time. It's kind of an annual event, but this year it's going to be kind of special because we weren't able to be together last year so much. So we're looking forward to lots of candy, lots of colored eggs. The members are excited about making those donations. And we want everybody to come and join us.
I was there one year, and I wished at the time that I was a child just so I could participate, you know, but it's really something, and I think it's a great way to bring the community together. Okay, so you're going to have an Easter Sunday service. Okay, and I imagine that it's, I know one year you did it pretty much at dawn.
This year, you know, I'm in my 11th year here at the church. And over those 11 years, our members have aged out some. We've lost several members, so we don't have the number of people to do that kind of work as we once did. But we are going to have a service at 10 a.m. on Easter Sunday. And we usually have refreshments and coffee following. And so we still invite people to come and join us. It's pretty much our largest service of the year. And we look forward to seeing people that we haven't seen in a while. So we hope that people will select the Peekskill Presbyterian Church to celebrate their Easter Sunday.
Yes, it's a good place to be. It really is. Now, you've told me that Caroline is the new ambassador to the church. So tell me, how do you like your new position in the church?
I'm very excited about it. I was just recently elected in January, and I'm really looking forward to this role and to be more involved in the community.
You're a good ambassador because people in the community kind of know you already.
Yes, I've had the opportunity to be engaged with the Hudson Valley Chamber of Commerce. So I've attended a few of the events on behalf of our church. And also this month, we are running a program for Women's History Month, and we've had a lot of women from the community come into the church and talk about women in leadership, and Toni, you being one of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I did a little speech. Yeah, and it was an honor to do this. It's really good that you open the church doors to so many different types of experiences. Now, the thing that I tell people about the church when I talk to people that I know is that musically, this church has got a lot going on. I mean, we've had famous jazz musicians here to do services. We have a great music director and that would be
Russell.
Matthew Russell. He's an excellent, music director, and he's done wonders with the choir. I was there here at church recently, and I have to say, some of the music he puts out, that's put out, really brings tears to my eyes very often. And the other thing is that you're getting involved in something with like youth that have gender identity issues, gender identity diversity. You use the term queer youth.
Yes.
And so the church welcomes this.
Well, one of the things about this church that I have appreciated so much is that we are a diverse congregation, politically, age, gender. And so we want to take it a step further and welcome queer youth from our community so that they can know they're loved, they can come in and be community together, we can form community together, and it'll be a safe place for them. They'll come and they'll learn how to use all of our technical equipment, new technical equipment that we have. We want to prepare meals for them and teach them how to cook. Listen to them, hear their issues, provide one-on-one mentorship and peer support. And so that's one of the ministries that we're looking forward to starting in April. We're going to kick it off on April the 14th with a paint and pizza night.
Oh.
Middle and high school students are welcome. It's free of charge. You can eat all the pizza you can eat and then paint. And we'll start to build community that way. And then in May, we'll kick off, it's called First Fridays. And we'll have high school students on one Friday night and middle school students on another Friday night. And we're just really looking forward to it. The congregation is extremely supportive of this new ministry, and we're just excited to be able to open the doors wider this time.
And there's a diversity of age in this congregation too. There are people that are, I always was amazed that some people are called elders, but they're younger than me.
Right. Yes.
I never really quite understood that. But the diversity in age, and there are people that are older, and I can say that there are people that have passed on that I've met, that I've spoken to about a lot of things at length. I mean, I think compared to their age, I was a youth, but they say very helpful things. They share very helpful things with each other. Now, I know that the fellowship after services is usually a time when everybody just sits and talks about everything. This is really great. I mean, you said you've been here 11 years?
I'm in my 11th year, yes. It seems like yesterday.
Yeah, you came 1 year after I came to this community, down in I'd say Peekskill proper. Peekskill proper, and so you came the year after, so we were both kind of newbies. I'm going on my 12th year in the community. I'm doing the best I can, but you're almost like a star.
Oh my goodness.
I know, you don't like hearing it.
Not at all.
You don't like hearing it, but people really do respect you.
Thank
very
you.
much so for that. You've made some great changes, and you've been able to, I guess, further integrate the church as well. I think it was, I'm going to just say it, I think that a mostly white congregation found you, sought you out, and elected you to be the pastor of the flock after the other minister, I guess, had to leave the post for whatever reason. And it kind of tells you about the collective psyche of this congregation.
Well, it really does. And the first woman to be pastor of the congregation and the first person of color. So they really stepped out in faith, and it has been a good relationship. Of course, we had to learn from each other, make some compromises, and respond to some challenges, but 11 years later, we're still in relationship. I'm not the star. I'm excited about this new star, who is, Caroline is chair of our personnel ministry. She's an ordained elder in the congregation. And most recently, we went through a process of evaluating who we are and who we want to be for the next 5 years, and what that is going to require of us. And Caroline was a part of that task force. And she said, well, there's something else that I can do. I live in the Peekskill community. She's a runner, an athlete, and she was engaged. And she said, I'd like to do that on behalf of the congregation. So we now need to get out and support her as she is supporting and representing the congregation. But we're excited about all that she is doing to help people know we're still here. We're still growing. We're still open to diversity, new ideas, and new ways of being the church. And so I'm looking forward to supporting her going forward for the next 11 years.
So, and I'm looking forward, and I am very excited to be in this role. So wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we welcome you
That's
to
right.
Peekskill Presbyterian Church. There is just so much that goes on here beyond our normal Sunday service. As Pastor just said, we have this new program that we are kicking off. We have special programs that we run on Sundays. So we have, things coming up, special events. So it's just more than a Sunday service. There's so many things here that we highlight, living in the Peekskill community, diversity being number one. We are trying now to bring people from the community into the church and also take the church outside into the community to say this is who we are, this is what we represent, this is our vision, this is our mission. And our mission is wherever you are on your spiritual journey or wherever you are, we'll welcome you. Come here, worship with us, be engaged in the program. Some of them are very interesting. Like I mentioned earlier, the women's program. It was just so nice to have people come in, women that actually have leadership roles within this community, come in and talk about what they do. And it's a lovely program. It will be concluding. But we have other things that I work very closely with Pastor Stephanie. We also have a Spanish congregation here, and we have formed an alliance with them. And so we quite often have exchanges in our services. We have other things exciting new things that we're working on. And as you had said, we have a great musical director.
Yeah, he's good.
And the music it's very heartwarming, it's touching, and it's also putting a spin on some like older hymns and just kind of jazzing it up and making it more relevant. And I think as a younger person, this is something that attracts me to this church. The people, the community, the hospitality, and I look forward to bringing that outside to the wider community.
Yeah, very often there are musical guests. I'm not in the mood to name drop right now, but we have some people that come to the church and play on a regular basis that are musicians within the community, jazz musicians, classical musicians. And I have to say that Christmas service, I'm thinking about that, the horns, it's just magical. The property of the church that the church sits on is really quite beautiful. I know that you've had some revivals, some Christian revivals on the property where basically you rock the neighborhood with this, and it's outside and the community, you can see people. I remember seeing people looking out their windows around the community to listen and watch what was going on. I think it's really important to keep things it's done here in the church, keep things somewhat contemporary to attract a lot of different people. Have you been pastoring a lot of people because of what's been going on just basically in the community, in the global community actually, for the past 3 years? I imagine that your phone is constantly ringing for help.
Well, I can't say that my phone has been ringing that much. What I will say is that we've had a lot of funerals over this past decade. I look out into the congregation and see a whole section of people that, have gone on to glory. And so it has changed the dynamic of the congregation to some degree. But we're pressing on. We are continuing with new ideas and new ways of being the church. But the members here are very independent. I can't say that I get a lot of calls for support, but I know that all of us are grieving for our nation, for our community, for our world even.
Yeah.
And so we want to gather together and offer support to each other on Wednesday.
Yeah, we've all been through so much. I was talking, I don't know if I was doing it on a show or what, but I said that they're talking about we're all in this together, and I remember thinking to myself, well, why am I all by myself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
not
so,
alone.
And so I see from doing this show, and Jim and I know this because we've interviewed so many different people, it's that everybody's situation is so unique. I can say it because we've interviewed several people, not just from this community, from around the country.
Right.
You know, doctors and other artists and musicians, different people from different areas. And their experience during COVID has always been unique. I think that the only thing we've been through together is the fact that we each have a unique situation, and we're all part of the collective. You know, I don't know if I could even say there's a common denominator of experience. I often think, well, what's the one thing everybody went through? And I can't think of one thing that everybody went through.
I think
During
primarily
COVID?
feelings of isolation that people felt. And for congregations and other businesses, we all had to pivot and try to find a way to stay connected with our community. And so we have, many of our members remain on Zoom on Sunday. Some of our older members feel more comfortable participating in worship by Zoom. So we're getting ready to stream live. We just purchased some new equipment, and we have a new social media team. We'd love for you to come, others to come and become a part of that, especially our young people. Teach us how to do it. So we're looking forward to reaching a broader community as we begin to stream live. We're also excited about the blessing of the animals. That's going to be coming in May.
Tell me about that one.
Hopefully, again, our Christian education ministry is open to planning outside on our grounds. We want all animals to come, and I'm going to lay a blessing out for them and for their parents, their owners. And another way to bring the community together. We know how we love our pets, our fur babies, our children. And so it's just something that I think connects people beyond religion, but it will bring us together as a community. So we're looking forward to that. Sometime in May. Stay tuned for the date.
I think of St. Francis of Assisi.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Yes.
and he was the patron saint of the animals.
Yes.
It counts, you know? So I think that'll be a popular one once the word gets out there. So what are the plans going forward? I mean, you have a lot of different ministries and programs. So what are the plans for this beautiful church? I mean, I have to say, it is impressive sitting here and talking to you here. I'm usually sitting back there someplace, you know, but it's a different perspective when you're really in the front of the church. There's just, the energy in here is so pure.
I think that we have a camaraderie in our church. The members actually do care for each other, and we love each other, and we, you know, we're there to support each other. And I think that the energy is always, like everything else that organization, be profit or non-for-profit, there will be, sometimes there might be conflicts, right? But you work through that. But I think in our church that we have this camaraderie, this bond. And I think we actually do care for each other. We want to see the church do well. We want our pastor to do well. And we give each other a lot of love and support.
Right.
So I think the energy here is, it's on Sunday mornings, and you know, even in our meetings, our session meetings, we are respective of each other, and the energy is very positive, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and what I like about the church, and I think other people will appreciate, is that, I don't know if it's because of the way the religion is set up, but it embraces women in leadership. I mean, you're the pastor of this church, you know. Usually, I know in a lot of religions, I mean, the religion I come from, you don't see that. You don't see a woman standing up and giving the service, you know. And I think when I came here, it probably was the second time I've seen it, you know, and I was really surprised that in this very Christian church that there was a woman leader, and it makes me feel like it's my family, you know, because there are women in leadership within this church. And also, I noticed that decision that's made is made in a democratic way. And I think that's what sets the Presbyterian Church apart from other churches. It's not always done quite like that. I haven't been to every single church, but this is the first church where I've actually experienced, you know, the democracy in the church, you know? And you still can worship God, you can still praise God and Jesus and be democratic at the same time.
Well, you know, Presbyterians are known to do things decently and in order.
Yes.
And we have a board, a governing body, our session, ordained elders, of which Caroline again is one. And we share power. We have a monthly meeting and people vote. I can vote, but I rarely vote because I don't want to be the one that make decisions. We make decisions together, and we share the power and the authority in this denomination. And it seems to work very well. We're all in it together. I may cast a vision. If there is support for it, it can go forward. If not, we have to try to reevaluate it so that it works well for everyone involved. And I really appreciate that, along with the diversity of this congregation. And when I often bring it out to our members, like, you know, we're kind of unique. You can't go into a lot of congregations, a predominantly white congregation, and see an African-American person, let alone a woman in leadership, and they go, oh, it's no big deal. I mean, this is New York. We just do things like that here. So coming from Maryland, it was unusual for me to see. And looking throughout our denomination still, we are a rare kind of congregation.
Yeah, you must have been really pleased when you got like nominated and just brought into the fold like that. You immediately were. I wasn't here when they did it, but I know that the people that I know in the church and when I came, they really do embrace you, in almost like, you know, a family kind of way. I think that's really good. And then we have people that do special services on Sundays just for the children. There's a children's service, which I like the children's service. I do. I particularly like it. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't have a child like mine, but it's just, I haven't experienced that. I belonged to two religions before I came here. This was like a combination of the two for me, and it works out very well. You know, so I think maybe I was born to be here. You know, so it's a beautiful thing. Now, I see that you have like some things are planned, I see. I'm wondering, what are the plans for the services going forward, like for Easter Sunday? You're gonna have the extravaganza for the children, okay? And so the adults can look forward to a really meaningful service. The services, I can say, are very meaningful.
Well, I mean, going forward, Pastor Stephanie and I will be working on maybe having something special for Mother's Day, a special service. So we're in the process of planning that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we have other things that maybe each month we will have a special event or a special service that is outside the scope of our normal service. And then, you know, we plan on getting out there into the community this summer and being involved in the events that are happening in the community, parades, you know.
The Juneteenth parade.
Yes,
Juneteenth
exactly.
parade,
Yes,
right.
So we're formulating, in the process of, you know, formulating a team and getting out there and marching in the parade. It's a great event, and you know, I've been to the Juneteenth parade as a spectator, and I said, wow, I really like this. Pastor, let's get involved.
Yeah, and you do have a banner. There's a banner that the church walks with, which is pretty intense. I've been on the sidelines watching, like, wow, look, there's a church.
There's the church.
Yeah, there it is. It's a beautiful thing. I know that one time you had, I think at least once, revival. Christian revival, that was huge. You know?
The community really came and supported us for that worship service. We haven't done it in a while. We really shifted gears to Spirit Talk, our 1001 New Worshiping Community.
Yes.
And we often had services and events out on our church grounds.
Yes.
And the community has been extremely supportive of that ministry as well. Shout out to Pastor Ramona from the Gates of Heaven, our
she's
partners
wonderful.
in ministry. We're looking forward to planning more worship services and events with them. And we're talking about a Mother's Day, perhaps breakfast or luncheon for the women. between the gates of heaven and the gates of the Peekskill Presbyterian Church.
That'd be a great thing.
Yes.
Now, I also know that during the December holidays, there's usually a dinner that is served here. Does that still go on? Or with COVID, you just know everything's changed?
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the person who took the lead on that and their family, he passed away. And so we haven't been able to. It was a huge event. We would serve almost 500 people on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And we had volunteers come in from all across the community, all walks of life, to serve people and to be together. We had organizations donate gifts and resources, and children would walk out with arms full of toys and presents and food and a wonderful meal. We took out our fine china and our linen tablecloths and just really, really enjoyed serving the community that way. And for me, it was the best Christmas experience I've ever had. And we truly, truly miss it. And we hope that one day we'll be able to revive that, because that was the heart of what we do, I believe, for our community here.
Yeah, they feed the community. Maybe it will be resurrected this year.
Let's pray so. I'm praying so. I'm praying so. We're still providing through our mission ministry. We're still providing food and delivering food to persons in the community who are homebound.
Okay.
That ministry continues. Right now we're serving, I believe, 11 families.
On a regular basis.
Every month. Every month our members come in, and members donate food, and they prepare the bags, and then people actually drive into the community and make those deliveries.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing. It really is. Well, you know something, I think it's, you got to feed, well, I won't say what you have to do. I'm just saying I think that it's a beautiful thing. Not everybody understands that. Not everybody's a churchgoer. You know, I don't know what I am. I think I'm a churchgoer, but it's not about me. But I think that it's a beautiful thing that you're opening the doors to queer youth. I think that must be very difficult for children to go through. And I think that just making it official that you're accepting them into your congregation is, I think, sets Peekskill Presbyterian Church apart from the rest. I'll say it like that.
And I would also like to say that our church is, it's run by dedicated group staff. And, you know, they spend a lot of time and expend a lot of effort in maintaining the grounds and in maintaining our beautiful sanctuary, in supporting Pastor Stephanie, and also the session, the board of session. And as the head of personnel, you know, I would like to recognize that and mention that they are a great team of people to work with.
We have a good team.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people on that team, and I'm really honored to be a member of the church, I'll say. And I think that I would want to thank you so much for just inspiring me and bringing me closer to the Holy Spirit, to God, to Jesus in this church. I really appreciate it a lot. No one else has been able to do that for me. It happened here, okay? So thank you so much for being on. We'll do follow-up interview because there are other things to talk about in this church, and there'll be more events, and you know, maybe we'll do a Juneteenth interview.
That would be wonderful.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We know you're busy traveling and promoting your own resources, and we know that you have us in your heart, and please know that you're always in ours.
Oh, thank you. No, I carry this church with me everywhere I go. It means a lot. It really does. And I want to say to the audience, thank you for coming to listen to this and to see this episode of Talk with TQ and the Energy Stoners Cafe podcast. And I can't wait till next time when I'll bring you the most interesting people I can find on the planet. Goodbye.